Hi guys, this is Amar and welcome to Amar Tech Stuff. So guys, in this video, we are going to focus on an BGP troubleshooting ticket. And here in this ticket, the problem statement is that eBGP is not up between AS100 and AS200. So guys, basically, so these are our two routers in AS100, that is router R1, and a router R2 in AS200. So the eBGP neighborship between router R1 and R2 is not coming up. That is the eBGP between AS100 and AS200 is not coming up. So let's find out why it is not coming up. Let's troubleshoot in this ticket. So I have already have the console of router R1 and R2. I was just checking here. You can see over here that show IPBGP summary, and you can see the neighborship. This is on R1, so the neighborship that is 2.2.2.2, which is the eBGP neighbor, which is R2, is not coming up. You can see the state over here is idle and does never come up. Whereas the other eBGP neighborship, which is 13.1.1.3, which is this router, guys, R3, 13.1.1.3, AS300 is up and it is running since 23 minutes and 53 seconds. So that relationship, that BGP relationship is up, neighborship is up, but with R2 it is not up. So this is the problem statement. Now let's check on R2 as well. R2 also I checked and I found that that with R1, that is 1.1.1.1, this is R1, which belongs to AS100, the BGP neighborship is not up, it is in the idle state, whereas with R4 it is up. R4 is over here. So this is the R4. So the problem statement here is that we have got a clear idea about the problem statement that R1 and R2 are not getting in eBGP neighborship, whereas R1 is getting in eBGP neighborship with R3, R2 is getting in eBGP neighborship with R4. So let's troubleshoot this issue. Let's go step by step and why it is not happening. So the very basic command to check, or I will say the very first level of troubleshooting is that to check the reachability, the layer 3 reachability between R1 and R2. So the IPs which we are using here, you can just check the configuration first of all. Show run section BGP. So this is the command by which you can check the configuration of BGP in this router. You can see here that the neighborship or 2.2.2.2, we are using this IP address. We are not using the physical IP address, but we are using the loopback IP address of R2 for BGP neighborship. And let's check the reachability first of all of this particular neighbor. You can see we have the reachability, that is the L3 reachability, because in BGP, to form in BGP neighbor, that particular IP should be reachable. It should have its layer 3 connectivity. If you do not have the layer 3 connectivity, then it won't form BGP neighbors, because you know that BGP neighbors get formed on TCP port number 179. So for that, a TCP session, the reachability between our router and the other end router should be up. So here we have that IP address. It is reachable. The layer 3 connectivity between these two IPs is okay. Uh, but still we are not able to get it. You can just check the neighborship again, the configuration stuff again. We'll just compare the configuration between this is the configuration with R2 and this is the configuration with R3. So you can see there is no difference. The only difference is description, which we can add easily. There's no problem. But because of the description one, it won't create any problem. Uh, what will be the other difference? Let's first configure the description as well. Okay, so this is with R2. I need to go router BGP 100. and then give this command. Now let's check why again it is not able to form. So since we are forming this eBGP neighborship with loopback IP addresses, uh, you may be knowing guys that by default BGP packet source is the outgoing interface, okay, which is over here. Here we have two outgoing interface, that is E2/0 and E2/2. So by default in PGP, the BGP packet source is the outgoing interface, but here in our case, the packets needs are getting generated for BGP from 1.1.1.1, which is not the outgoing interface. It is the loopback interface. But BGP gives us an option to actually change the source of the BGP packet. So here the source of the BGP packet is not E2/0 or E2/2, but it is loopback interface, that is this 1.1.1.1. Let's check what is that interface. Show IP in brief. So this is the loopback 0. So I'll just change over here in the configuration. I'll go router BGP 100 neighbor 2.2.2.2 update source is the command loopback 0. It's a very simple command. Okay. Similarly, on R2 as well, we will check on the enable mode show run section BGP. Okay. So here also I'll go config router BGP 200, and if let me check first of all what is that interface 2.2.2.2. So it is also loopback 0. So neighbor 1.1.1.1 update source loopback 0. Now let's check whether our BGP relationship is up or not. Show IP BGP summary. Still it is not up, guys. Still it is not up. So what is the other reason? Hmm, we are using, whenever guys we are using the loopback interface for BGP neighborship, always remember there's one more thing to be added, that is for especially for eBGP, not this applies only for eBGP neighborship, not for iBGP neighborship, is that eBGP neighborship should be directly connected to each other, that is they should be in the same subnet. Okay, so this does not apply to iBGP, but for eBGP it applies, that eBGP neighborship should be directly connected, that is it should be in the same subnet. Now you can see here that 1.1.1.1 and 2.2.2.2, these IP addresses we are using, these are not in the same subnet, means they are not directly connected, because by default the TTL value in BGP packet is 1. So whenever it enters from one AS to another AS, that TTL values get expired. Okay. So but here, since we are using the loopback interface, which are in the different subnet, and they are not directly connected to each other, so we need to specify the same thing, that they're not directly connected to each other, but they're some hop away. So that we need to specify, and we can do it by using a very simple command, that is eBGP multi-hop command. I'll show you how to do it. It's a very simple command. Just go into router BGP 100 and then neighbor 2.2.2.2, and the command is eBGP multi-hop. We'll get the eBGP multi-hop. So how many hops it will be away? Basically it will be 2 hop away, because this is 1 and this is 2, so this will be 2 hop away. But for safer side, always take the maximum value. It doesn't make any difference. I can take over here 3, 4, 5, anything, but take it as a maximum value. It is not going to harm anything. So let's take 255. I'll go here on this other router as well, and I'll do the same thing. Router R2 as well as go and do the same thing. Go in the configuration mode, router BGP 200 neighbor 1.1.1.1 eBGP multi-hop. Again I'll take 255, no worries. Now let's be check. Now you can see certain logs over here on R2 and R1. both of them. That is coming up. Show IP BGP summary. Okay. Now guys, you can see the neighborship is up from last 17 seconds. So guys, in this way, whenever you are forming BGP neighborship, eBGP neighborship with indirectly connected IPs or neighbors, uh, it is better to configure this two commands, which is first one, which I told you, is the update source. You need to update that source because by default BGP packet source is the outgoing interface, and BGP gives us the option to change the BGP the BGP source interface. So that is the one thing, and the other thing is that eBGP neighborship should be directly connected. It should be in the same subnet. If they're not in the same subnet, you need to use eBGP multi-hop command. So guys, I'll stop in this video here. I'll catch up you in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care. Have a nice day.